Well, I got my new air compressor in today. They just delivered it UPS of about an hour ago, 45 minutes. This is a Stealth 20-gallon air compressor. And 150 PSI max. Supposed to be 70 decibels, which I could care less about. I'm deaf anyway. I think it's supposed to put out 5 cubic feet per minute at 90 PSI. I forget what it is at 40 PSI, but anyway. I'm not really going to show you an unboxing. I just wanted to make a note of what this is. I'll get it out of the box and we'll have a good look at it. Alright, there's both of them. There's the new compressor and there's my old compressor. First thing I noticed was the size of the actual air pump right here. This is the air piston right here, and then look at the size of these. That one and that one. You got two of them. The motor's in the middle. So I'd say this one is a lot better than that one. So anyway, that's the first thing I noticed. As you can see, I got it out of the box. So the next thing I want to do is do the startup on it. You're supposed to open the bleed valve on the bottom, plug it in, start it up, let it run for 30 minutes. And I guess if it doesn't fail to start or if it don't blow up, then you can go ahead and use it. And yes, this is made in China. But that one was made in China also. Anyway, the other difference is this is a 26-gallon tank and this is a 20. But I don't think I'll be lacking anything because you got twin cylinders in there pumping air, to where in this one you had this little bitty thing. Christ, right here's the piston right here. The travel of it right there is about like that. So all right, let me go ahead and get this thing hooked up and we'll fire it up and see what it sounds like. It's supposed to be Stealth. Now, let me explain something to you. I didn't buy it because it's a Stealth compressor. Why? Because I'm almost completely deaf. I can barely hear anything out of my right ear. My left ear is totally shot. So being a Stealth compressor don't mean anything to me. I'm not going to hear it anyway. All right. Well, let me move this one out of the way. Move that junk back there in the corner, and let's back this over there and plug it in and see if it blows up. All right, let's see if the sparks fly. Here we go. We're going to flip the switch and run like hell. What dang, what is quiet? I got hearing aids in too. It's pretty quiet. It kind of purrs and chirps. That other one I had to drive you out of here. Alright, well, let me start the right? I'm sitting about, I don't know, 10 feet away from the air compressor, and I can actually hear myself think. This other air compressor, when it was on, man, you couldn't hear nothing over it. Sounded like it was going to fall apart. But that thing is a lot quieter. Now, is it going to be quiet enough not to drown out my voice on this video? I don't know. But I can tell you this, it is a lot quieter than my old compressor. So we got about another 20 minutes to go and we're done with the test. But I just thought I'd like to hear what it sounds like 10 feet away. It is quieter, so I don't think I'll be driving my neighbors crazy when I'm up in the middle of the night and early morning working on something. Use the air compressor. Okay, this has been running about 26 minutes. I want to take my temperature gun and see how hot the heads get. What the hell? Alright, the one on the right is reading 113. And one on the left is reading 112. No, it's jumping around. That says 122 there. 116. So they're not running excessively hot. What's the motor doing? The motor's running about, look up your mind, stupid. About 183 degrees. Of course, I don't know how accurate this infrared thermometer is. But it don't seem like it's getting really hot. I mean, as far as the compressor heads are going. Well, we've got less than 2 minutes to go and I'll shut this thing down. Alright, I just shut it off. It passed its break-in. I ran it for just a couple of seconds past 30 minutes. And it didn't throw a rod or burn up anything. The motors didn't short out. And it sounded pretty quiet, didn't make any weird noises. The thing I like about it, and I don't know how good I'm going to get this, but I like these lines going into the tank from the compressor head. That's braided. This is copper, and that's braided as well. Good quality lines on it. And I said before, I like the air compressor motor. I like the regulator switch box. It's metal, got a nice handle on it. All right, let's compare it with the other piece of junk I had. This is my old compressor. And let me turn this around so we can see it. Okay. Here's a compressor box, regulator box, plastic. This is the on and off switch. Plastic. This, I never did like. This line, it's like a stiff plastic line that went from the regulator switch to the air tank in this nipple right here. Right here. I never did like that. But I suffered with it. So anyway, did I make a bad choice in getting a new compressor? No. Here's another thing. This is the only filter right here that goes into this compressor head, this one long compressor head. Now look at this. Over here you got two compressor heads and they got inlet air filters on it, canisters. You can change those out. Overall, I like the build quality of it. The seams look like they're welded good. Let me mention the drain valve at the bottom. On the bottom of the tank, where it's curved, like the bowl of it where it's curved, it's right exactly in the middle so that when you open it, it'll get all the water that was in it. You know, everything that's going to collect is going to be right in the middle of the bottom of that, and that's where that drain petcock is. On this one, this stupid thing is in the front right here, and you had to tilt it forward to drain it. And the problem was, it was like a balancing act, because you got the 1/3 leg there that you had to hold it up and balance it. I mean, this compressor worked for years. Not that I used it all that much, but it got the job done. As far as running air tools, I didn't bother to try to use it because it only put out 4.1 CFM. This one puts out 5 at 90 PSI, which should run any air tool I want. I'm not running an auto body shop, so anyway, to sum it up, I like that regulator. Regulator, yeah. Well, I like the regulator. I like that compressor. So, anyway, I don't know when the tank expiration date is on it. I gotta look and see if there's any stickers on it to tell me when I gotta junk this thing, but I'm pretty sure I'll get at least 2 or 3 years of service out of it. Well, okay, let me turn the camera off, and I'm gonna pump this thing up. I'm gonna turn that drain petcock off, and then I'm gonna pump that thing up until it shuts off to make sure the kill switch on it turns the air compressors off. Then I'm gonna leave it sit overnight and see how much air leaks out of it. Now, you got to take into consideration that right now it's about 79, 78 degrees. At night it's going to get cooler, which means the pressure in that tank's going to drop, and not from an air leak. So I'm just going to pump it up till it shuts off, and then I'm going to see what it looks like tomorrow at about noon. Okay, I've got the drain valve closed, and I'm pumping up the tank. Right now it's pushing towards 60 PSI. That's what I keep doing things off. 60 PSI. And I'm checking to see if the shut-off switch is cut off. I want to see what pressure it shuts off at. Okay, it just shut off, and it cut off at exactly 150 PSI right here, right on the button. And it took 5 minutes and 49 seconds to fill the tank from empty. Alright, well, I'm going to let it stay charged up for a couple of hours. I think what I might do is, hell, leave it on there. I'm going to unplug the power, and we'll just leave this thing set, because I want to make sure it's not going to blow up. Okay, it's unplugged, and we got 150 PSI. And it looks like it's gone down a little bit, so we'll come out and check it in a couple of hours and see how much is leaked out of it. Alright, well, that's it for now. There's nothing much else I can do. Okay, I thought I'd just make a note here. Right now it's 6:18 p.m. Well, it's closer to 6:19, so we'll come out in a couple of hours and check and see how much pressure is lost out of that tank. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to lose some, but I hope it's not a whole lot. Okay, well, that's all we can do for right now. Okay, it's 12:44, Thursday morning, 2023. We're going to go out and check the pressure in that air tank. Of course, I'm going to try my best not to slip and bust my ass. A little breezy out here, about 55 degrees. See how much air is in this tank. Breezy Louise. Well now, look at that. Okay, that tank's reading 130 psi exactly. And this tank's been charged 6 hours and 28 minutes. It's still got 130 psi in it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see. Here you go, 130. So, but that could be because the temperature's dropped too. So, alright, that's what I wanted to know. 6 hours and 28 minutes that tank's been charged. It's 10:58 a.m. in the morning the next day from getting a compressor. And I'm going to look at the pressure readings. The tank's been charged up for 16 hours and 40 minutes. Alright, let's look at it. On the tank side, it's about 130 psi. And on the tool side, it's 130 psi. Now, I've got the regulator turned all the way in. So, it's got pressure on the tool side output. So, alright. All in all, it held pressure pretty good because, you know, you get a loss in pressure when the temperature goes down, it comes back up. It says it's 80 degrees out here where the thermometer is for the weather station, but you got to remember that's sitting out in the sun. In here in the shade of this stall, it's a lot cooler. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to run a test to see if when this thing kicks on, when it bleeds air out of the tank and you're using it, when does it kick back on to keep the tank charged up? So that's the next test I'm going to run on this thing. Alright, the tank is charged back up, and I'm going to see if I can find out when this thing kicks back on. And it's 120. Yeah. Okay, that kicks on at about 100 to 110 psi to charge the tank back up when it's running. Okay, what I'm going to do is unplug the compressor. I'm going to bleed the air out down to about 20 psi or so and open up that drain vent at the bottom. And then once it's open, I'll let this run a little bit to blow out any water that's in it. Then I'm going to see about bleeding this. I'll probably have to hook a hose or something up to it. All right, well, let's do that. Okay, I got the drain valve open at the bottom of the tank. Drained all the pressure out of it. The pressure on the tool side went down, so it's relieved all of the pressure in it, and everything's back the way it should be. Now, I'm going to turn the compressor on and let it run for about 5 minutes to help blow out any condensation that's in it. Well, that concludes all the tests I can think of without actually plugging in the hose and checking the connectors up there, but I'll do that a little later. I just want to do some preliminary tests on it, make sure there wasn't any defects in it, you know, like a bad pressure regulator or pressure switch, and make sure the tank wasn't going to develop a leak overnight. It did go down from 150 psi down to 130 psi, but I don't think that's a leak in a tank. I think that's because of the temperature variation. I came out and checked it at about midnight, and I think it was like something like 51 degrees, and the temperature had dropped from when I first charged it up. It was 79 out here, so it dropped down to 130 a little after midnight when I checked it, and it was about 50 degrees out here. So it's like the tire pressure in your car tire when you first get up to drive the car in the morning. It's cold outside, and if you check the tire pressure, it's going to be lower than what you filled it at, because they tell you don't put air in a cold tire. Well, unless it's flat. They tell you to drive it for about an hour to let the heat develop in the tire and the pressure goes up. Then you check it, and if it needs air, then you fill it. Why? Because as things get hotter, the pressure increases. So anyway, I think the compressor did pretty good, and I think it's going to last a while. I want to check on that tank right there. I don't see it in the front, but I'll check it in the back and see if there's a sticker on it to tell you when the expiration date is on the tank. So for right now, that's about it for me checking this new Stealth Quiet compressor, and it's a 20-gallon tank, and I think it's going to work just fine.